And he does so again to the same person, Hughes. Same result. Westport and Waipahu knows baseball. Westport knows how to provide you with the uniforms you want and when you want it. Westport knows the finest bats and gloves on the market today. With the largest selection of batting gloves in the state, Westport offers the most complete and up-to-date inventory on the market. Their prices will make you visit a most satisfying experience. Drop by today or any day. They're open 7 days a week. That's Westport in Waipahu and also in Kalihi. Just ask Wes, he has it all. Corey Ishigo's the batter, takes ball one. Both Jimmy and I have been down there, and Wes has taken us into his back room, his storage room, and the stuff he has back there, I'll tell you. You need to be one of those dogs, you know, that can scent out things. Because, I mean, that is loaded back there.
I went in to get a glove for my son, Matt, and we were going to spend maybe 20 minutes down there. I think we spent 2 hours. Because you're right, he takes you in the back, and then you just about got your choice narrowed down. Oh, then he brings out 2 or 3 more. It's almost like a woman going out to buy dresses.
you are in trouble,
Don't write to the station, ladies.
One ball and 2 strikes to Ishigo. And there's a ground ball. That's fair. It takes a bat hop past Finley. Ishigo around first. He'll head to second. He didn't need to, but he slides. That's an error.
And they scored an error on the first baseman, Chris Finley, as it gets by. Now, I don't know. It almost looked like, yeah, it kind of just came off of the heel of his glove. But I just wonder, when Corey Ishigo went around first base, if he hit the sack, pal. You know, I wasn't sure if he hit the sack. He kind of looked at the ground, but he just kept right on going.
So the runners have another runner at second base. This time, 2 are out, and the batter is Double D, Dwayne Daughtry.
And if there's any time that Double D needs to show patience at the plate, it's right now, because there are, you know, 2 outs. First base is open. He needs to be very selective on what he goes after. If he gets his pitch up there in the strike zone, go after it.
2 breaking balls in a row. 0-2. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th inning. Hawaii behind 5-0. Swing and a miss. The 3rd strikeout for Daughtry, the 7th overall. So the Bows come up with no runs, no hits, 1 man left, and there was 1 error. We'll be back for the 6th.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
I did. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that strollers have the right of way on the sidewalk?
Yes.
Yep, I did. Did you guys
Did you know that kids who eat breakfast have higher GPAs?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to say.
Did you know babies should never touch silver? It's really bad for them.
I knew that.
Did you guys know that statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
I'm putting that on my blog.
I just put it in mine.
The new pitcher for Hawaii is Jay Holland. He takes over in the top of the 6th inning. And there you see the statistics that Holland has compiled for himself this year. Chad Anderson will be the first Lion to face him this inning. Anderson, the sixth batter in the order, will be followed by Hughes and Castanon. Ball 2. And there's a strike, 2-1. And there you see the line on Scott Carl, what he accomplished this afternoon. Definitely not one of his better outings. There's a dying quail in the right field, for lack of a better term. Could say a flare, a Texas leaguer. But since this is a baseball game and it's
a dying quail.
That's right.
And they've had a lot of hits like this today. They just they take what's given them. You know, they've hit so many home runs. We expected a team to come in that's, you know, would swing the bat like BYU would probably swing the bat, but they are really punch and Judy type of hitters when they have to be.
And very successful at it, as Kylie Hughes will take his hacks. Maybe the Rainbows have decided that they were just going to go about business as usual, as you commented on, Ronnie, in the opening. But it appears to me that with the type of personnel that they have and the type of people they've been all year, the never say die type of kids, that, you know, they just don't look like the same team. The runner starts a hit and run, perfectly executed beyond Ishigo. Anderson is heading for third base, and he'll stand up. And as we commented on earlier, this is what they like to do. Perfectly executed hit and run by Kylie Hughes.
And what he does here, pal, is as the runner breaks for second, Corey Ishigo slides over towards second base, and you'll see the ball just get by him out into right field. Perfectly executed hit and run.
Second baseman, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to come toward home plate to protect your area and then go. I think Ishigo released a little bit too soon, leaving that huge gap right there. I mean, so the runner does just get to second base. At least you've got the opportunity
to get an out.
To get an out at first base.
Right.
Here's Johnny Castanon. So more trouble for Hawaii in the top of the 6th inning. Runners at the corners for Southeastern Louisiana. Strike 1. See, at all possible, what you don't want is anything hit so that they can score the runner from third base, Chad Anderson. You know, preferably a strikeout, and then a ground ball for the double play. Or maybe a pop-up in the infield or to the short outfield that will keep the runners in their respective positions now. That's what you hope for if you're a Rainbow fan.
Kenny's not comfortable with something. He wants to go back out and talk to Jay Holland.
Well, you wonder what that's about. I mean, 1 is a fastball, 2 is a curve, 3 is usually a slider, 4 is a changeup maybe, but you know, this could be about his quick deliveries home, because you saw Carl in his first delivery to the batter. He's one of those big guys.
That's not the tank shooter, though.
No.
That brings the tanks.
Yeah, I was going to say, that looked like a C5. I mean, I don't know my planes at all. But that looks like a big guy, I'll tell you that. Count is 1-1. Castanon is the 8th batter. There you can hear the roar of the airplane. A C-130. Now, that's not as big as the C5 we saw earlier. That thing was huge. Come directly overhead. Well, you saw that pickoff attempt as Carl steps off. fakes the first. When he steps off, he becomes an infielder, and he's allowed to fake the first. And then he spins and turns around, and the runner from third base, Anderson, takes a couple steps home, but Holland doesn't throw.
And then what happened at the end of that play is Scotty Craven deked the play as if the ball had been thrown, because the runner had turned his back to the play to see if he could get him to take a couple more steps off, which he did not.
There's a ball that's hit foul. It's 2-2.
You know, I look for maybe on one of these pitches now for Coach Martin to send the runner on first base. Kylie Hughes.
Swing and a miss. There's the strikeout that Holland needed. So what we commented on just a few seconds ago was this is what you want. You want something to keep the runners in their respective positions. Big strikeout here by Jay Holland. Well, you know, I agree that he's probably going to start the runner at first. Again, you know, if he's going to be a percentage guy, a textbook guy, he's not going to do it with no outs. So you look for him to go now because there are one out. There is one out, and you want to try to remove the force, especially if this guy is a successful base stealer. And Kylie Hughes on the year is 9 for 13, not too bad. Ground ball to Craven, to Ishigo. Big double play for Hawaii. So Southeastern Louisiana doesn't score, but they get 2 base hits. They threaten, but come up empty, 5-0, as we look at the inning concluding double play.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who do something, the people who take action, are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making Home Affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Harold Kabab will lead off for Hawaii. The bottom of the 6th inning, 5-0 in favor of Southeastern Louisiana. Kabab bats second in the order. He'll be followed by Billy Blanchette and Franz Ewan. So you can see just about everything the Rainbows have done today, just a little bit off. The swings appear to be good, but they're not making good contact. Scott Carl looked like he's throwing hard at movement on the fastball. The curveball is breaking good, but got the ball up in the strike zone a little too much. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 8.
And Harold just flat out misses this pitch, pal. He's not on it at all. He just, you know, see that little lunge and that's throwing away the hands. The body language isn't good too. Like you say, you know, they're swinging at pitches, and then when they make a mistake, they're just not really, you know,
like,
pumped up.
Like they're slouching, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Here's Billy B. That's another bad pitch that one of the Rainbows has gone after. And that's something, you know, if you look at Billy over the last few years, this is something you rarely see him do, go after a pitch out of the strike zone. Ground ball. Hard hit at Kylie Hughes, who throws Billy out at first. So 2 are out, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Franz Ewan. He's 1 for 2.
And he, like Billy, has gotten one of the 3 hits that the Bows have gotten today.
Been Franz, Billy, and Kenny Harrison all gotten singles off of Bollinger. Hey, you gotta like this kid. 6'1", 170-pound senior from Metairie, Louisiana. Foul ball behind the Rainbow dugout. What would a Neighbor Island vacation be like without airfare? Book the Sheraton Makaha and find out. Our Kama'aina rates are just $79 per room per night, Sundays through Thursdays, and $85 for Fridays and Saturdays. Call the Sheraton Makaha for details. Now, Franz Ewan, do you see what just happened? Oh, Frankie's looking down at the ground. The pitcher throws the ball. I mean, there was no pitch. Oh, boy. Pretty dangerous. Still 1-1. And a ground ball hit just to the right of Bollinger. Elliott fields and throws Franz out at first base. 3 up, 3 down as the 6th inning concludes. Bulls are still way behind.
So I wake up underneath this overpass and I look down in the waistband of my pants and I realize I got a 9mm pistol with 3 rounds missing.
Parking Lot Babies appeals to people, I think, because of the situations that the characters face. I brought the script, Parking Lot Babies, to Jim. He saw some potential in it. We got a lot of buzz with the student body, and we were able to put it on into a production on the main stage.
The Music and Dramatic Arts program here, they were 150% behind this. Whether it was rehearsal spaces in the early going when we were still developing the play to a full, main stage touring production.
And I walk out from underneath the overpass and I look up and they got all these signs in Spanish. I think, well, maybe I'm still in Houston, Texas. But no, I'm not in Houston, Texas. I'm in a little town called Chihuahua, Mexico.
Being in that kind of environment gave me the kind of experience that I think that you only get once you're out into the real world.
Troy Melanson will lead off for Southeastern Louisiana. And he fouls that one back off in the screen, 0-1. Jay Holland is the new Hawaii pitcher. He's pitched 1 inning. He took over from a struggling Scott Carl. Carl went 5 innings, gave up 8 hits, 5 runs. So we're in the top of the 7th. Huge deficit. So Hawaii needs to have good defensive innings, solid pitching, and they need to get something on the board. They need base runners, Ronnie.
They sure do. You're absolutely right. They seem like they're losing even what energy they did, have at the beginning of the game. Their body language. We don't want to be redundant here, but they look lethargic. They look a little tired. And I don't think it's fatigue because they've rested well. Coach Les in the interview earlier said that they traveled well on this trip coming up here.
Yeah. Well, again, we were discussing that, people say, hey, you shouldn't start Scott Carl because you start someone else. But I just don't really feel that as Melanson now hits it barehanded by Craven. And not in time. But I think they're going to give that a base hit, or they should.
This is a great play here by Scott. He doesn't get him, but he barehands it knowing it's going to be a close play. Throws off balance. Billy makes a great play and tries to deke a play here. Looks behind as if the ball had gone by him, but he made a great stop at first base.
And Ronnie, they do give this a base hit. Pretty good play right there by Craven. Melanson can really run.
And by Billy B at the end of it, you can see the ball right in the web of the glove.
And a little looper base hit into right field. Melanson will stop at second base. So Ray Ferran now gets the 12th hit off of Rainbow pitching. Boy, these guys just keep coming up with these flares.
And this is a team that hits 60-plus home runs. And what they're doing is they're hitting the ball to right field and just dropping it in there.
Well, they say hitting them where they ain't. And Greg Elliott is the batter. A pop-up into center field. Double D comes in, makes the catch, and hits the cutoff man. So 1 out as Chris Finley's the batter. Finley, the first baseman. He's 2 for 3. He scored 2 runs. Got an RBI to his credit. See, now what Jay Holland does, Ronnie, is he gets on the mound and he thinks, hey, I can get a ground ball here. My guys can turn the double play. This guy doesn't run all that well. And with the gang coming over to party, it's good reason to call Marion's Catering. They really know how to throw a terrific spread of Japanese, Hawaiian, or American food. Ask anyone that's tried Marion's and they'll say Marion's is #1. Find out why by giving Marion's Catering a call. And they are really good. Very good catering.
Call them, let's order some food for dinner tonight. See if they deliver. You're absolutely right, though. Jay Holland is looking for the pitcher's best friend. That inning-ending double play. He needs a ground ball to do that.
He also needs to throw a strike to do that, and he's behind 2-0. Finley, the cleanup hitter. A pickoff attempt, not in time. Do you think it's possible that the Bows have underestimated Southeastern Louisiana?
Oh yeah, I think it really is a possibility. I mean, you play teams like Arizona and UCLA and Stanford, and you scratch like you did at home to come back and win the WAC tournament after losing the first game to New Mexico. Sometimes there's a fine line between being confident and being overconfident.
Yeah.
And I think they may have been guilty of that, but I don't want to speculate on that because you never know. You're talking about 20-some young men who have all different personalities and different feeling, and it could be a whole bunch of things. And maybe it's just that Southeastern is just a darn good ball club.
And I think they've been a rather fortunate ball club. I mean, they got 12 hits, and I think only 2 have been hit hard. I just don't feel that with people like Blanchette, another foul ball is hit, and like Vollmer and Double D in center field, Kebab in left, I just don't feel that with that senior leadership that they would allow it to happen. And I frankly would not see how anyone could win a league and then come up to a regional participation like this tournament, and not be up for it. I mean, this is one of the major goals of their season, and they're here. Now got to do something about it. High fly ball to left field. That ball is gone. Melanson will score, Ferran will score, and Chris Finley will score a big 3-run home run. That ball's hit a ton, Ronnie.
I mean, that thing was out of here. It cleared the chain link fence that's above the fence here, and left fielder Harold Kebab just looked up and watched it go over the top of his head. And Coach Les right now knows that this game with 8 runs is really starting to get out of hand here.
Well, look at the contact and extension. Well, I'll tell you, he hits that very well. Watch Kebab now. Watch his reaction. Hey, you know now it's gone. About 370 feet or so to left center field, maybe a little more. The 13th hit, and runs 6, 7, and 8 cross the plate. Scott Tribble's the batter. 8 runs on 13 hits now. Holy smokes, unheralded Southeastern Louisiana comes in and does a number all over the Rainbows. This is one of the reasons why I like a double elimination tournament, Ronnie. This is something that I know that a few years ago I recommended to our state people, that we allow a double elimination baseball tournament, because I'd be very interested to see their number 2 and 3 pitchers, and you know you're going to see at least one of them, you know, based on the fact that Bullinger came back, you know, 36 hours later after he pitched a game, but there were 3 games played between that. So he pitched game 1 and game 5.
And should the trend continue, you're right, they're going to have to play at least 2 more games. So their number 2 and number 3 pitchers now become prominent.
Well, last week, you know, Brother Jim was talking a lot about New Mexico. Could they be the team of destiny? You know what, Ronnie? They almost were. I mean, there was a scrappy group of guys that came into Rainbow Stadium and just said, hey, you know, we don't care about all that you have. I mean, you compare your program to ours, and we're absolutely nothing compared to what you guys have, but we can play with you. And they came in and exhibited that spirit, that fighting spirit, and they did a good job. Ground ball hit to Randy Vollmer. Makes a long throw for the second out. So Jim kept mentioning last week, could they be the team of destiny? Well, after looking at these guys, you know, I think the jury is still out after one game because of what we just talked about, whether or not they have that pitching to go on beyond this. But hey, so far, you got to be impressed with these young men. And the batter is Chad Anderson, the DH, 2 for 3, couple of ribbies. See, I recommended that a few years ago because I always feel like on any given day in this sport, when you get like a good pitcher, that, you know, you lose one and you're basically out of the action. A little looper, Ishigo comes in, but he's able to go back and make the catch for the 3rd out. And we'll continue our double elimination story later, but the Bows are in trouble, folks. 8-zip.
My favorite of all would be the concert music, your symphonies, things like that.
I can turn on the Southeastern Channel when there's a concert on, and then I can go about my business around my house, and it's like being surrounded by a live concert.
I like the rebroadcast of cultural events. I was not able to go to that particular fanfare event, but yet I can see Capitol Steps when it's rerun on the Southeastern Channel.
I really like watching the Southeastern Channel when they have the pageants, the Miss Southeastern pageant.
Well, Artworks is something that I try to catch whenever I can.
It's a window for the community to see artists and their personal lives.
I think it's really wonderful that the Southeastern Channel finds people that are creative in the area to interview.
It just gives an extra dimension to the art scene here in the region that Southeastern serves.
Bullinger pitching himself a whale of a game here as we begin the bottom of the 7th inning. The scheduled batter, Sean Rogers, has been lifted for a pinch hitter. We'll get to see Kevin Curtis. You know, Ronnie, I want to say hello to my kids in class, my students in Winnie A2 who are just ending their spring fling right now. It has been a great week, kids, and I'll see you. I'll see you on Tuesday.
Coach will be flying back on Tuesday.
No, I'll be flying back before that.
You got to be there for Tuesday,
yeah.
Right? That's what I mean. You got to be back to school by Tuesday. So you sped on over here to get to the
That's
tournament,
right.
and you're going to have to speed on out to get back home.
Absolutely. Curtis, a good pitch right there. A good swing, I mean, on a pitch that was up in the zone. Yeah, and I'd like to thank some people for the consideration and support shown. You know, Mrs. Barbara Jamal, my supervisor, and Mr. Dwayne Yee, the principal, and Dr. Rod McPhee, you know, for allowing me to take this trip to support the Rainbows. And if you need to get it there, Hawaii Pacific Air offers fast one-day inter-island air cargo service. Rates from just $14.50. So while other airlines prefer to move people, we enjoy keeping business on the move. That means your parcel gets first-class treatment. Ground ball, long throw by Elliott, and they get him. Good catch and tag at first base by Finley. So Hawaii Pacific Air, we put wings on anything. A fine play.
That was a great play by Greg Elliott, just to getting the ball, but then the great play was by Chris Finley on the tag, the throw being a little bit wide.
And Kenny Harrison will step in. No runs on 3 hits. Bullinger has pitched a 3-hitter, all singles, and a high fly ball to left field. Left fielder goes back. He goes off the fence. Harrison around first base. He heads for second and dives in with a double. So Kenny now getting 2 of the 4 base hits, a single and a double. Good swing. Watch the short stride. Weight back. Hands in a good launch position. Hands ahead of the bat on contact. Well, that's a clinic on how to hit the ball the opposite field. And Kelly Fair's the batter. Fair will bat for Vollmer. It's the first time we've seen Randy V come out of a game in a long time. Rob Williams is the next scheduled hitter for Scott Craven. So Kelly Fair, who seems to own the patent on the line drive to left field, gets hit with a pitch. So Rob Williams now will step to the plate. He'll bat from the left side against the right-hander Bullinger.
And Bullinger hasn't walked anyone today at all, pal.
He hasn't walked. I was just going to comment, Ronnie, that that's the first sign of anything that was remotely controlled to wildness, that, I mean, concerning wildness that we've seen all day.
And we're in the 7th inning.
Williams takes a fastball on the outside corner for a strike.
Coach Les is doing something that we rarely see, and that's just this wholesale substitution of players.
When you're behind, especially.
You know, should they lose this game, what will happen now is that the road becomes so very hard, especially in a regional with such quality teams. But then you think about player fatigue. You start thinking about your pitching staff. So the strategies all change right here.
And there's a high ground ball fielded by the pitcher. No call, a late call by the umpire, but it was a no call by him by the chief. And the second base umpire, Rick Runchi, comes running in calling foul ball. So the chief, Tony Thompson, responds. So we've been saying this all afternoon, but Kirk Bullinger is ahead of the hitter, 1 and 2.
And this is a foul ball. You'll see it come right off of the top of his shoe. Right there off of his front foot.
And a little nubber hit to the pitcher, who goes to second base. Nice play. Nice, good, accurate throw. That was redundant, wasn't it? A good, accurate throw, huh? My English teacher wouldn't have liked that. So the second out is in the books. And the batter is Corey Ishigo. Chris Duggar has come out. He's got a batting helmet on, so maybe we'll get to see Chris for the first time in a long time since that first road trip to Utah. Ground ball. Did you see what that ball did? It was clearly foul. It is by the outside marker of the 45-foot running box, and it hit and it came back toward the infield. Watch this.
It kind of did a right off of the bounce. It cut where the grass and the dirt meet.
Yeah, boing.
And it just kind of took
Look
a little.
at that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a couple of more feet down the line, and that would have been an out.
Fair ball.
So Ishigo now 0-1. Tell you what, though, this young man has proved a lot of people wrong throughout the season. Ground ball, fielded well by Bollinger. Throws Ishigo out at first. So although the Bulls threatened, they come up with no runs. And they're way behind, 8-0.
These are students in training and they're learning, and they get the type of experience that very few other universities can offer.
Oh, I really like that Cinematech program.
The show I really like is North Shore News. I like North Shore News.
I like Indie Visual. I try to catch the College Night show.
I watch College Night because I think it's really fun and it's entertaining.
The student news show, you'll get things that you won't get on like the 6 o'clock news or any of the local stations. And on top of that, it's done by students.
I like that program because I can see the students doing their service and learning as they're doing.
The Southeastern Times covers interesting stories about people here on the campus at Southeastern.
Feature stories air on the Southeastern Times, things that are going on in the community.
I really enjoy watching the big game because it gives local athletic talent the chance to be shown.
It's student run and it's student produced and student anchors. You know, it's really modeled after SportsCenter, after ESPN. It has a lot of the same characteristics.
There are 5 changes for Hawaii. Kevin Curtis plays right field. Kelly Fair takes over at short. Rob Williams at third. Tyler Sheff puts on the tools behind home plate, and the new pitcher is Eugene Myers. Leading off for Southeastern Louisiana is Kylie Hughes, the shortstop. Eugene Myers. Good movement on his fastball. About 75 miles an hour, 76 at times. Got a good breaking pitch, and that one is hit to right center field. Daughtry comes in and makes the catch. And that'll bring up second baseman Johnny Castanon. Castanon on the afternoon, 1 for 3. He struck out and singled. Pretty good looking pitch. Inside low though, and it's a ball. There's a strike. Moku Paiva is warming up in the bullpen for Hawaii, so maybe we'll see Moku at the top of the ninth. Breaking ball, strike 2.
Now, if you're Coach Les, what you're going to think of now, pal, is quite simply that it becomes not a double elimination like we talked about earlier, but it becomes a one-game shot here, one at a time. And he's going to really have to evaluate his pitching now and really figure out his rotation and who he's going to come with. And it takes away a lot of his flexibility the next game as far as what he has to do offensively. If he gets behind early, he's just going to have to start creating things. And so from a coaching standpoint, you know, your bullets are starting to disappear a little bit.
Ground ball hit to Kelly Fair. He's got a pretty good arm, makes a good throw. Well, as I understand it, a win today would put Billy B on the mound against Pepperdine. A loss today will put Brady Pereira on the mound tomorrow.
We've got some scores in, excuse me, pal. In the Mid-East, it's a final. UCLA scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th to beat Clemson 6-5. And in the Midwest, get this, 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th, and Oklahoma State beats Minnesota 12-11.
Yeah. Also, Ohio State beat LSU 5-0 in the South 1, and in the East, in 10 innings, the California Golden Bears beat Florida 4-3. And there's a ground ball by Nettles, the catcher. It was 0-2. The player from each team will be honored at the end of today's game. GTE Hawaiian Tel will go beyond the call and contribute to the General Scholarship Fund of the University of Hawaii. Line drive, base hit, left field. Hit number 14 now off of Rainbow pitching.
And that's the type of hit that Coach Pal Eldridge really enjoys. He waits back. It's an inside pitch, and then he explodes with the hands and turns and gets those extension with the hands, and bingo, out into left field.
That's pretty good hitting style right there, and that'll bring up the leadoff hitter Troy Melanson. Melanson 1 for 3. He scored a couple of runs.
And there's a good look at Coach Greg Martin, who just seems like he's relaxing. Now he's thinking that the boys from Cajun country are here. There he is. He's really a nice gentleman. I enjoyed talking to him the last 2 days.
I love his accent. Love it.
Both of his assistants played ball at Southeastern.
Well, I had an opportunity to talk, and we coached against one of the true legends of youth baseball in Louisiana, Furman Sims from New Orleans. And there's a strike, a breaking ball. I mean, Coach Sims had, you know, I had 5 teams in different World Series, and Coach Sims had like 15, I think. He's like the #1 guy in the history of Babe Ruth baseball. Very interesting to talk to. And you know, the Louisiana people produce very good youth teams.
They have good weather down there too. I don't think it gets, does it get real cold in Louisiana? I'm not really sure. But it seems as if, because LSU always has a real good ball club.
Well, I've been to New Orleans for the coaching convention. It was pretty cold with Joey Estrella and Mike Moss. A couple of baseball guys.
But then again, you know, cold to a Hawaiian person is different from cold to a mainland person.
Hey, 65 is cold.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
So the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Melanson. Good leadoff hitter, stands away from the plate. And you see how he just dives in and sticks the bat out on that outside pitch. Well, I think Coach Murakami just has to say one thing. He brings all the guys together and he says this: boys, we lose tomorrow. If they lose today now, okay? We lose tomorrow, we go home. That's all there is to it. Ground ball to Rob Williams. He goes the short way to record the 3rd out. So 3 are up and down, or 4 are up, 3 are down, excuse me, in the top of the 8th inning.
We detect some specific pattern of deformation of structures. We sort of predict when the whole structure will fail. The type of students I prefer to get involved in my research is that those who love science, love research, and those who enjoy research.
Well, the great thing about Southeastern